Africa is just such a hotbed of activity now. I meant to ask you about something, man. Now that we just talking, not to drag it on, but and I know Lawrence, I didn't get a chance to introduce you yet, but I really want to ask this before I forget. Burkina Faso.
Yes.
Uh, give us like kind of a ground level bird's eye view of just your perception on this, because I know you travel back and forth to the continent all the time, and we know that what's going on with there with the leadership and everything else. Give me your thoughts on that, and as well as the possibility of even supporting the tourism in that country. Is that even feasible?
Well, at the moment, it may not be the most feasible because they are, if you will, under a redevelopment phase. And so you have the current president or the current head of state who came in a few years ago by way of a military coup. He came in and he has really kind of stood up to the French. And if anybody's familiar with the French and their colonial tendencies, their imperial tendencies, and in essence said, listen, we don't want to be a part of this French colonial regime. And so that caused, waves within the continent. So then Niger and then Mali, their presidents teamed up with the president of Burkina Faso, and they formed their own, I guess, union, if you will. And they're saying to the rest of the Western world, hey, we're going to do something different. And so what that has done is it's caused some other presidents within the continent to say, okay, well, what are we going to do here? And so now you're starting to see which presidents are truly aligned with the West. That's the French, the U.S., the British. And it's a really interesting thing. But just in reality, any African country is going to have some sort of military backing, some sort of financial backing. And so Russia is supporting Burkina Faso heavily. And that's what you see in the news right now. And hey, it is what it is. That's the way it is on the continent. And we're starting to see manufacturing on several different levels, whether it be in the technology sector, whether it be in the agriculture sector happening in Burkina Faso. And it's sparked inspiration throughout the world. And that's where you see the different marches and protests happening against the French regime and in support of the president of Burkina Faso, because now the United States president has decided that he wants to make him a target. And typically, historically, what has happened on the continent is when someone has stood up, they would normally be either assassinated or imprisoned or something along those lines. And so the rest of the world, their eyes are on Burkina Faso and seeing what is actually happening there. So I'm glad you asked the question, tried to wrap that up as quickly as possible, but that's what's going on. Once things stabilize, I do believe that there will be a tremendous possibility for tourism once things stabilize in that region.
Okay, nice. Well, it's going to be interesting to investigate that and just kind of see what's going on with that. I think it's really exciting and long time overdue. We know the history of Africa and everything else. So Lawrence, how you doing today, man?
Doing great,
That's it.
boys. Just got off a plane from Tulsa, Oklahoma to Philadelphia here for an impact investing conference. So trying to speak a little bit and learn some new things that I can take back to Oklahoma.
Nice, nice. Now you're out there in Oklahoma rebuilding, helping rebuild Black Wall Street out there. I mean, I don't know, it sounds like it. I mean, what kind of stuff are you guys doing out there? That if whatever you are able to share in terms of developing Black business and industry, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a very exciting things going on out in Tulsa. We have I guess, big plan to help. Not only say rebuild, like people use that term. It was already being built. It's been being built for many many decades now. So just being the new generation, adding to the bricks that have already been laid. So I'm doing a little bit of investing out there, partnering with a large foundation. Trying to help them put money into black businesses to help them grow and develop and bring larger companies to the area as well.
Wow. Well, so let me ask you this, Jay. Okay, so Ghana, where does Ghana fit in your mind in terms of places that you in Africa that you enjoy the most, and just what do you love the most about Ghana?
Well, what I love the most about Ghana is the potential and the possibilities, and then the realities, because right now, with the way that Ghana is inviting those of us who are from the broader African diaspora to the country, you see where they are developing as from whether it be real estate, whether it be technology, also agriculture. So there's tremendous entrepreneurial opportunities in Ghana, as well as tourism, and also just connecting with the continent. So Ghana is one of the safest countries in the world, actually, and so that's one appealing part of it. But then when you set foot in Ghana and you begin to look around, you see the cranes in the sky, you see the new restaurants that are opening, you see the new developments, the housing developments that are happening, and you stop and you say to yourself, okay, something's going on here, and you know you want to be a part of it. You look around and you say, okay, this is the beginning phase. And Dr. Boyce and Lawrence, you both know that a lot of times when it comes to our community, we show up late after everything has been built. So what we're saying now is get in early and see if it's something that you're interested in. So for me, Ghana is definitely in the top 5 places that I enjoy being in. I own a retail location there, beauty salon, as well as purchasing 3 properties. But I also see the other opportunities for those who are relocating. A lot of people are relocating. A lot of people are also going and becoming developers. So a lot of my friends are actually becoming real estate developers. They're building communities and they're creating housing opportunities for other people, whether they're from Ghana or whether they're a part of the broader global African community. So it's a tremendous opportunity right now in Ghana, and when you look up in the next 10, I would say 5 to 15 years, you won't even recognize much of Accra and other parts of Ghana.
Really
Yeah,
interesting. Huh.
yes, sir.
Oh, by the way, Lawrence, if you had something you wanted to ask Jay or bring up, feel free. I don't want to dominate.
No, please, please. No, I mean, also, I know a lot of people getting, dual citizenship in Ghana as well, and using that as a not even just wealth building strategy, but as an avenue to de-risk from America, especially with all that's going on in the country right now. So,
Mm,
And
yeah,
yeah.
speaking of that, Lawrence, you brought it up, but I got my Ghana card right here. So I am a citizen of Ghana. So I got my Maryland license. I still have my, but I got my Ghana card too. So that's why, just like what you said, there are options, and Ghana is actually making it very easy for those of us who are part of the global African community to come back into get the dual citizenship. So to your point, you're 100% correct.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. So, um, have you met Jay? Have you run into a lot of people that are seriously considering just relocating or just pursuing citizenship or just looking at Ghana as a place to temporarily escape? Which one would you say you've seen the most of?
All of the above. I know a lot of people who have relocated. They live in Ghana. They live there, and I know hundreds of people who live there. There's they call it
Hundreds.
expat. Hundreds of people. There's a community there of people from Chicago, from DC, from Atlanta, from LA, from all over the US, even from the UK, and they have relocated to Ghana and they don't want to leave. They love it. They are there and it's home for them. And one thing I'll tell you, Dr. Boyce, is that last time I was flying into Ghana, and I don't know if you all remember the old Atlantic Star song, All in the Name of Love. That's one of those from back in '87. It's a classic. And I was just flying in and I was just looking, as I was flying over Accra. And that song just came to my mind just from the standpoint, just the melody and the groove. It was peaceful. When I land in Ghana, it's like a peace that I've never felt landing in any other country. And so many other people resonated with that. They were like, yes, I know what you're talking about. And it's not the roads, you have bumpy roads. It's very imperfect, but it's almost like imperfectly imperfect because
Mm.
it allows you to connect with a part of yourself that for many people they didn't know was there. And that's what I feel every time I land in Ghana. I feel some of that other places, but no place quite like Ghana.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I went to Ghana. I think it was 2019, and I know that the being in the spaces where we're a majority instead of a minority. I remember noticing that and how differently that felt. I also felt that the people, there was just kind of a kindness that I saw amongst all the people there. And and it was and you're right, the opportunities. There's lots of opportunities there. And I'm always curious about how we can, as a community, really make that just sort of I almost feel like that should be a rite of passage for every person, every black person in America. At some point, get your passport, go to Africa, just connect with who you are. I know that when I came back, it felt different. I think I didn't want to necessarily leave the U.S. for good, but I definitely felt like the world was a little bit bigger. You know, like okay, I could go there if I wanted to. You know, I actually think that we can be optimistic about America to the in the extent that, yeah, Donald Trump's not a great guy, but he ain't got I don't like see him in my living room every day unless I want to,
Right.
and he's not calling me on the phone or hanging out with me. It's my wife and my kids. And so I like my life here, but I think that the idea of just being a global citizen seems to be just more refreshing, almost like being able to open the window and go outside whenever the room gets stuffy, you know?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lawrence, so tell me, now where have you been out of the country?
Man, I've been to Nigeria back in 2012. It's about time for me to head back to the continent, though. Been, through Latin America and Europe. I spent quite a bit of time in Colombia as a country, and spent some time in Panama as well. And then, yeah. Haven't been to Asia yet, and I've been to Africa, but I need to explore more of the continent.
Yeah, well, Nigeria. I remember Nigeria. Now, what did you think about Nigeria? I'd like to get you guys' assessment of Nigeria. If I guess I'll start with.
Listen, it was a great experience. We were in Lagos. It was a little bit too hectic and huge, humongous of a city for me in terms of all that was going on. But I would definitely go back again. Now live, I have to explore more of the area. I don't think I could do Lagos. But maybe there's some other places that I could do in that country.
What about you, Jay?
Yeah, I echo Lawrence's sentiments. It's a very busy place, and it's like 10 across. So 10. So if you take Accra, Ghana, or let me think of a city in the U.S. It's like 10 Atlantas. There we go. So you take all of that, and or maybe let's 5 Atlantas. Let's take 5 Atlantas and put them all in one place. And Lagos is like its own country, very busy. But you know what? I felt at home there. Everybody, they thought I was Nigerian. When I
Really?
got off the plane, they were like, "Oh, welcome back." I'm like, "I'm not. I wasn't born here." They're like, you let me see your passport. And they would argue with me at the airport to say, no, you're from here. You look Igbo. And they kept telling me that. And whenever Nigerians tell you, or they think that you're from there, then it must be something to it. And but it's very busy. Nevertheless, the people were exceptionally nice. It didn't meet a lot of the stereotypes that we've heard in the U.S. I believe that there is a difference between a continental Nigerian and an Americanized Nigerian. So I think that there's a difference there, in my experience. But everyone was very nice. Could I live there in Lagos? I don't think I could live in Lagos because it's just too much going on. But I could visit in a heartbeat. It's an hour from Ghana. It's once you go, and you've been there, Dr. Boyce, Lawrence, you've been there. You all know. But for those who haven't been, it's a place you have to go see for yourself. And once you go see it, you can determine, how you want to flow with it.
Yeah, yeah. My experience with Legos, I think, was Lawrence set that up. It was with the Speakers Bureau, Great Black Speakers, and there was a really rich pastor who brought us over there, and I'm still wondering where he got all that money from. But anyway, but he was a great guy, and it was a great trip, and I think that getting all that security made me wonder, like, well, what are you protecting us from? Like, what? Why are we? And so I felt like Nigeria was a different experience from like say South Africa or Ghana, and what was the other one I went to? Gosh, I guess, oh, Botswana,
Egypt?
Botswana.
Oh,
Yeah.
Botswana. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I haven't seen that. You know what's really interesting about Africa? I think most African Americans should understand this is that there are just so many massive countries that many of our people don't even know about. Like if you were to offer them $1 million and say, name, I don't know, 20 African countries or something, I think a lot of people would miss that money, right? I mean, and you have countries that we don't talk about at all that have massive populations of people. And it's almost like there's like a massive group of forgotten black people around the world that they never teach us about. Have you
Yeah.
noticed that?
Oh, for
I
sure.
have. Yo, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
No, no, go ahead, Lawrence.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that 100% that we don't truly understand how big the world is until we actually get out there and explore it.
Mm, yeah. I kind of feel like it's necessary. And by the way, anybody who's watching, if you want to join us on this trip, and I'll be there. My wife Alicia will be there. She said she's going to call in. She just got off an airplane, so she may call in. You can go to b1voyages.com, b1voyages.com, and I'll be there. My wife will be there. And I can tell you the last trip that we took to Egypt, I was really impressed, Jay, because it was so, I mean, not that I expected it to be bootleg or anything. I just didn't know. But it was very comfortable. I felt like it was really it was nice, and the cruise was amazing, and it seemed like you put a lot of time into curating these trips. What's that like for you?
Well, I treat them as experiences, and I want everyone to have that experience. And I was telling someone recently that for me, yeah, we're curating a trip, but I'm thinking about the result at the end. So I wanted you to come to Egypt, Dr. Boyce, and I wanted you to relax and have a good time. I wanted you and Dr. Alicia, and I wanted everyone who was a part of the B1 Voyage to be there and not have to think and not have to worry and to really take in the moment. And however each person was going to download the experience, I wanted that to happen without distractions. And so that's what we do with all of our experiences. So when thinking about Ghana, I understand our story in the U.S. And although we all have different stories, but I understand the common thread. And I want for someone to be able to come to Ghana, experience the food, the culture, the history, and then to be able to see the possibilities. And so we've had people travel with us twice to Ghana. And they said, the second time, you remember the old Shalimar song, second time around, it was like so much better than the first time. So they came back. I'm just telling all of my business now, right? So they they came and they said, you know what? The second time in Ghana, I was able to really slow down and just kind of take it all in. And so that's what goes into every experience that we put together, because I know what traveling the world did for me. And I got to meet a new person that I did not know existed, because I was, I was kind of trapped in doing the same routine day after day. But once I got outside of that, and as you said earlier, Dr. Boyce, and see the world being a little bit bigger, it's like, wow, because like you said, to your point earlier, I still love my life in the U.S. I haven't thrown my life away in the U.S. It's like, hey, this has actually allowed me to come back to the U.S. and be more empowered, because I'm a global citizen, because I understand different perspectives in that forgotten or that untaught about Black community that's in either Brazil or in Colombia or in different parts of Africa. It just enriches you and on a whole nother level, and that's what we look to do with each experience.
So Jay, I'm curious. Let's talk about what I think seems to be which I felt was one of the more heavier parts of the Ghana trip, which is the door of no return. Where the slaves knew they were never going to come back and see their families ever again. How does that feel to stand in the door of no return? Like what was that like for you?
It was a wake-up call. And when I say a wake-up call, it put a broader context to the story, because a lot of times in our history in the U.S., they say, well, your history started with slavery. And so your ancestors were a slave, and that's it. And they were these people who were weak. They were these people who had some sort of deficiency. There was something wrong with them. So if that's what you're taught from a very early age into adulthood, and then they start labeling you with all of these other things. And when I say they, meaning the broader culture, whether it be the educational system or whatever, you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I don't quite measure up. But when you go across the ocean and you get the story from the other side and you understand what was really taking place, you understand that you descend from those who survived. You descend from strong people. These were human beings. They were not slave. They were enslaved. They were doctors. They were educators. They were people who were, in some instances, kings and queens. They were nobles within their own society. So when you start looking at it from that perspective, you say, wait a minute, I don't descend from deficient people. As a matter of fact, I descend from people who survived some of the worst acts of terrorism that a human could endure. And so you get that piece of the puzzle, and then you say, you know what, I have no excuse not to show up. If I don't show up, I have access to, even with the things that I don't have access to, I have access to more than most of the world. And so when you get that piece of the story, it changes your mindset and your perspective. And you say, I descend from survivors. I don't know where the thumb came from just now, but it's a thumbs up. But I descend from survivors. I don't descend from people who were deficient, but I descend from those who were able to endure. And so that is running through my blood. That's running through my DNA. And so it just did something. It lifted a lot of the childhood issues and generational issues that were passed down on this side to say, you know what, I have a responsibility now to be a bridge for my brothers and sisters and those who are interested to have that encounter if that's what they want.
Right on, right on. By the way, everybody, if you want to go with us to Ghana, we there. We gonna be there. It's the to what I know of, one of the few Black economic trips over to the motherland, and we will be there with you. And you will walk back. You will come back with not just a great experience, but we will educate you on various forms of family group economics, economic history, and get you prepared for the future. Lawrence, you've been doing a lot of great work on generational wealth and legacy. You put together the Black Family Master Plan. I know that, and I know you're very passionate about that. When you think about just who we are and roots and heritage, how do you think that that seeing that sort of Black history from a broader perspective really helps you in what you're doing with the Black Family Master Plan? Why is that so important to you in the first place?
Yeah. So I created the Black Family Master Plan about 4 years ago to solve the problems that I was having in my own life in regards to feeling overwhelmed, being head of household and trying to manage and juggle, two kids, a marriage, a job, and all these other types of things. And it was just kind of getting hard to just think about all of those disparate aspects of life, and it made it hard to feel content and to feel like I was in control of my own life. So the master plan is focused on four main quadrants: earn, protect, sustain, connect. Earn is about how do you go about increasing your income sources. Protect is limiting downside risk in your life. Sustain is making day-to-day life pleasurable and fulfilling. And then connect is creating memories and experiences with those that you care about the most. But over the last, I guess, year or so, I've thought and I've been thinking that a couple pieces are missing. One is the aspect of faith, and not necessarily believing in Christianity or anything like that, but having that belief that you can do and achieve what is necessary to create a generational wealth and legacy for your family. But then the other piece is that I felt like was missing from the plan was culture. And I think that's where things like this come into play with, going to Ghana as a community, going to Egypt last year as a community, being a part of those cultural experiences really show you the why behind in terms of why we're doing what we're doing in terms of creating generation wealth for our own families, but how that intersects with a broader Black community that expands globally. So that's where I think trips like this play into the master plan.
Okay. So, Jay, I'm curious, and by the way, anybody who wants more information on our
And
summer
Jay,
trip.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, boys. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So anybody who wants information on our summer group trip to Ghana, just go to be1voyages.com, be the number one voyages.com. So Jay, I want to ask you, what would you say are some of the most exciting or more adventurous things that we'll do in Ghana? Is it hiking, safaris? What would you
Well,
say?
well, you might not get the safari so much. That's more of an East Africa component. But the cool part about it is that you're going to get a chance to experience so many different aspects of Ghana. Of course, I mentioned the food. Ghana has some of the best food I've ever tasted. Now, if you don't, some people like the heat, the spicy heat. Well, if you like that, you'll have plenty of it in Ghana. If you don't like it, you just let them know, and you don't have to have the heat. For vegans and vegetarians, we have plenty of food options. For those who like to shop for whether it's clothes, whether it's different souvenirs, authentic souvenirs, you have that opportunity as well. For those looking for the nightlife, we're going to make sure that you get a taste of that. Of course, the history is going to be there, and you'll have a chance to see some of the different opportunities that are available for those who are interested, whether it be in real estate or if you're looking to do something else. So you'll have a chance to see it. It's not going to be a deep dive into it, but it'll be where you get a sample of all of these different things to say, you know what, this, whether you want to move to Ghana or not, that's not what the goal is here. The goal is to give you exposure to see something different. Sometimes you go away to get answers for maybe something that you're wondering back at home. Or so those are the things that we want to make sure that you are in touch with. And then our team on the ground is the absolute best. And that's the one thing I'm excited about, because when you see how the Ghanaian community and how the Ghanaian people will treat you, that's something that goes on a deeper level. So this is not a surface trip. This is when I say immersive, meaning you will get samples of so many aspects of Ghanaian culture. You'll have the naming ceremony, so you'll get your Ghanaian name. Or I should say a Khan name. That's better to be more specific to the ethnic group. So you'll have a chance to experience all of that along the way. And again, when we put this together, we are thinking about what would someone want to see or experience while they're on the ground. And that's what you can look forward to coming up in July. So we're what I tell everybody is this: when you're thinking about timing, back in 2018, I was thinking to myself, I want to go to Ghana, and I don't know if the timing is right. I was looking on Google Earth. I was looking for every kind of thing to discourage me from going, and I almost canceled my trip. But I look back and I say, if I canceled my trip, I would have canceled this phase of my life. And I didn't know why I was going. I knew I just needed to go. And when I got there, then that's when the door started opening. It was little by little by little. And so here we are today, 2025. That was 2018. So 2025, and so many people have joined us on this experience. We've taken more than 2,000 people back to the continent of Africa since 2021, and continuing to do that because we understand the importance of it. But Ghana is the place where most of the people have gone, and they say that it's just a deeper level of understanding, and many people want to go back.
Do you have now? What is your Ghanaian name, Jay?
Kojo Chumbrema. That is my name, Kojo Chumbrema. I finally got it right. I used to say it all American style, Kojo Twimbarema. I used to say twee. You had to learn some things. It was like they were like, no, you don't say twee. It's tree, so you got to put a little, but these are the things I eat with my hands now, Dr. Boyce. I go, some people, I'm a germaphobe. I was like, I don't eat with my hands. What are we doing here? What's going on? I get my banku and I eat with my hands. I get my kelewele, eat with my hands. I have no problem with it now. And that's the beautiful part, because you become a different person. I was like, eating with my hands, that is so, not Western. so yeah. So
eating with your hands is ghetto.
Right. That's what they do. I'm sitting there eating with my hands, and I eat with my hands so well that these people think I'm Ghanaian because I know I got the twist on it. It's like a technique. And then even when I'm in Nigeria, they say, "Oh, you eat that egusi soup? You know what you're doing here." But again, these are things that when you look at colonization, you look at imperialism, you look at the Western influence, they have defined for us what is supposedly culturally acceptable. But then when we dig deeper, we find out, well, somebody just made that up and told us that it was wrong. Who told us that it was wrong? And then you start saying, oh, let me start deconstructing some of these Western cultural norms, if you will, and embrace the way other people live. Some things won't be for me. There's some things I don't think I'm gonna be eating bush meat or anything like that. That might not be my thing. But I say, you know what? But I can appreciate it. And I said, this is hey, this is what they do. Okay, cool. Maybe I have to grow to that level. I don't know, but I'm open to learning, and I'm less judgmental as far as other cultures, and recognizing really how deficient I've been over the years, and how much I don't know even about myself, and where I descend from.
Well,
Yeah.
I think we have a special guest. So I'm gonna practice eating with my hands with this Twizzler. And
we're gonna get you in Ghana. I'm gonna get you on tape.
All right. No, you gotta eat with your hands, Jay. You gotta be sophisticated, like me. By the way, I want to mention my Ghanaian name is Kabu Kubi Okanti. And my nene is Michael Roberts, and we went to Ghana back in 2019. It was a great trip. Now, I think we have a special guest, Dr. Alicia. Hey, babe, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I can hear you and I can see you.
Oh, you can see
Hey,
me.
yes.
Hey,
Hey, Lord.
Hey,
Hey, Jay.
Hey,
How you
Dr.
doing?
Alicia.
hey, what's going on? Look
Chanel,
who
I
showed
see
up.
you. Yeah, here I am.
yeah. What are
How
your
y'all
thoughts?
doing?
Did you did you hear anything interesting that you had a thought about or wanted to
You're
comment
talking
on?
about eating with our fingers. Yeah, I actually, when I was in Washington, D.C., I got to eat at an African restaurant, and it was so communal. I just remember that I was in oh God, I was in high school. I just remember everything being communal, everything being uh you just go for it. There's no boundaries. You know how you have a plate and a fork and a spoon? Oh no. It was just a big food in the middle of the table and everybody just ran and ate what they felt like eating. So that was different. It was different for me. Yeah.
That sounds like Marrakesh. Sound like you went to Marrakesh.
It it may have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and in the back of my mind I was thinking, God, I'd like a hamburger or something. Because my taste buds wasn't used to it. But I like that. Exposing children. I hope there'll be some younger folks here on this trip, expose them to different types of food and different types of culture
Mhm.
and all of that is so important. Because I got this story. I went to a restaurant in DC and now I'm telling this story many years later. So it stays with me forever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. When we went to Egypt, were there any children on the trip? I don't remember any kids. Do you?
No, but there were young people. There were father and daughter
Mhm.
pairs. There were families that was there. So I just remember being like the range of ages was just very vast. That's what I remember. 20-year-olds all the way up
That's
to
right.
probably 60-year-olds. And I thought that was nice.
Yeah, that is nice. And what I found was I really enjoyed the camaraderie. I think my favorite time was when we had the men's circle that just kind of was just naturally formed by God. Like nobody planned it, it just happened. And it was just a great chance to sit and talk to a lot of different men. We did it again at the All Black National Convention. And the older brother who was kind of leading everything, he led the circle again at the convention. It was just a room full of black men, just all talking and about life and success and their goals and of course concerns and things that are going to make us better. And I love that, man. That was really fun. It wasn't weird or pretentious or built on any goofy stereotypes. It was just basically just human beings coming together in a way that was unique. And I almost felt like it felt sacred because we were on this cruise ship in the middle of the Nile. It's like, okay, we're really like, I don't know, like we're really planning something big right here. I don't know what this is, but this feels extraordinary. And I like those magical moments. And I feel like there's something about us as black people getting a chance to kind of get away from it all a little bit that kind of opens our minds for those new experiences, for those sacred experiences, those things you never ever forget. And I remember it when I was in, and it's funny because when I was in Ghana in 2019 when I got my name, and I was with Michael Roberts and a group of men there, and it was kind of similar in the sense that like, okay, this is something different from what you're going to get in the United States, and I actually feel bad for people that never get to experience that. What do you think, Lawrence?
Yeah, no, I think that's 100% correct. And I haven't experienced Ghana yet too. So I'm talking to you talking to me as well in terms of being able to experience, that type of culture up close and that type of community bond, especially, with other men, with other black folk, traveling, experiencing, the life in the world together. So yeah, I think it's a hugely important thing.
Yeah. So, Alicia, did you have any reflections in terms of your trip to Egypt and just sort of what that was for you and what made you want to go to Ghana? I mean, I didn't make her go. I didn't say, "Hey, woman, you got to go with me." She chose.
Really? Really?
No,
Because all I know is that I just got a message from you. We're going to Ghana at this date. And so I said, okay. And I put it in my
no.
calendar.
I think I might. I think I said I'm going to Ghana this day. But hey, it could be a
No, that's
we.
not
It
what you
could be a
said.
we. It could be a we.
That's not Chanel. Weigh in on this. Chanel, I was like, what's the dates? And you said, I don't know the dates. Don't
Yeah,
play, boys.
yeah. You know how I am. I just live in the moment. But one thing I feel is that when it comes to taking trips, like Jay, you were talking earlier about thing, when you want to go on a trip and you want to do something and you're the first temptation is to cancel or to put it off, whatever it is, especially if it's something different or something you've never done before. And I guess I've been around long enough to know like that's the first instinct I always have is like, let's be cautious, let's wait. And the thing about it is that the more time goes by, the more I realize that I'm much happier with the times where I didn't wait than the times where I did.
Amen to that.
And yeah, and a lot of times you say you're gonna wait, but then you act like you got all the time in the world. God did not give you an infinite amount of time on this planet. And Lawrence and I we sat and watched our parents travel a lot in the last decade. And there would be times where there would be a trip to take, and they'd say, "Oh, we're gonna wait till next year. Wait." Well, eventually, it got to the point where they couldn't travel anymore. And that was very hard for us. I mean, our family really had to work through a lot, and we really needed each other during that time. We still are. We're still working through it, but at the same time, it was like it really was a reminder, like you got to do it now. Really, all you got is now, and whatever scares you about it, I don't know. I kind of think if you live in that cage of fear, you're gonna have a lot of regrets later on in life. And so the biggest thing that I can say that our mother gave to us was she was the person who would nudge us and force us to go ahead and plan the trip and hey, we're all gonna get together. No, really got to do this soon. And and I'm glad she did that. So I would encourage anybody out there if you're on the fence and you're trying to decide what to do next, man, just do it. You're not gonna regret doing it. The only chance you have for regret is if you don't do it. If you do it, what's there to regret? It's gonna be an amazing trip. It's an experience that thousands of people have taken, with maximum impact travel, and they all come back with glowing reviews, right? So you're going to have an experience that will change your life, and it will, more importantly, I think, broaden your perspective a lot. I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in, feel free.
No, I was gonna, say great for you boys because in our family, you've always been the one leading the charge on making sure that we take those trips, and do things when, money might be tight or, the kids have this or just whatever excuse that we come up with as adults on why we can't do something. You've always been the one, to get us over that hump and say, no, we need to do it now. And going back to the parents thing, as our parents, are getting older, and our mom, passed last year. I'm so happy, and feel fortunate and blessed that we were able to have and create those experiences and memories with her, and dad and daddy when they were of able body and able mind. Right. And if we had delayed, we'll be sitting up here in 2025, be like, man, I wish we just had did more with our parents, as they got older. But now looking at it, I was like, I don't really have, many or any regrets at all, because we did all the things, 10, 15 years ago that many families just wish they would have done, as things progress and change throughout life.
Man, that's so heavy, Jay, because I really feel like, you know, I feel like we get robbed. I feel like the rut robs you of meaningful experiences. You get caught in a cycle. Get up, go to work, come home, go to bed. Get up, go to work, come home, go to bed. Get up, go to, and then you just do this over and over and over again with very little variation. Maybe you switch from job to job in the meantime, but for the most part, it's the same routine. And then one day you wake up and you're old and you can't do those things anymore, or your youth has left you, and you realize, oh my God, I've spent the majority of my time doing the same thing over and over again, or all most of my time at my job. And it almost makes me mad. It really, so to me, I think when you talk about like things like wealth, which opens the door for these kinds of wealthy experiences, um, it's like wealth is important because it frees you from that rut. When you get trapped in that little cycle, man, they'll keep you locked up like a cooped up bird in a cage, and then you're frustrated and you don't know why. And I think it's because you're not supposed to live like that. You're not supposed to be doing the same thing over and over again. You're supposed to be free, have new experiences. What do you think, Jay?
I agree 100%. As a matter of fact, that's what happened with me. I was in the rut and I was working. And I was hitting another birthday. And I said to myself, I said, if I don't change this, I'm going to look up and be 70, 80 years old. And then I'm going to have this bucket list that I had the ability to kick things off of this bucket list over the years. And I said, if I don't stop this, then I'm going to miss out on life. And then when I had that wake up call, it's like I'm more than made up for it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to travel. I'm going to overcome my fear of flying. I'm going to overcome all these different things. And I just put my mind to it and I stopped overthinking it. And I said, if I don't change it, nobody's going to do it for me. There's not going to be this person who's going to come in, okay, now it's okay for you to travel the world. And I remember getting on the plane. I was flying over to Ethiopia. I was flying to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro. This was back in 2019. And I looked at this guy, and he was obviously Ethiopian. He looked Ethiopian, but he had his entire family flying in business class. And I said, now he just dropped about $35,000, $40,000 on this one flight. I'm just looking and I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. People are living out here and I'm cooped up, thinking that I don't have the resources, but I really did. I just didn't prioritize the resources to do those types of things because I didn't see the value in it. I didn't understand the investment in myself through travel. It just didn't register because that wasn't the culture I came from. The culture I came from was you work and you pay bills. You work, you pay bills. You work, pay bills. It wasn't you work, you invest in yourself, and then that gives you the strength to go to the next level. It gives you a new idea. It allows you to expand your mind so that you can reach your maximum potential. That wasn't the culture or the mindset that I was around. But once I got a taste of it, I made up for lost time. There was and once the bug bit, that was it. I said, here we go. And so 25 African countries later, 50 total countries around the world, there's no other way to live. It's almost like now when I work to look for the next experience. So I encourage everybody to do it now. Don't overthink it and experience it and see who you become as a result of the experience.
Hey,
Alicia?
wait a minute, Jay. No, you didn't just say fear of flying.
Yeah.
Wow.
I find that so hard to believe because let me tell you, I'm a coward. But it doesn't stop me from getting on airplanes. I just got off an airplane actually a few minutes ago, and it doesn't stop me, but I am petrified. I don't know. Going to Ghana. Wait, how long is that flight? I know you probably already said it, but
10 hours, 10 from East Coast.
I cannot, Jay.
You can. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why you can do it. Because it's really, by the time you get up in the air, what ends up happening, you'll be up there for maybe a couple of hours. They're going to feed you. So that distracts everybody. So then either you're going to go to sleep. So that'll be a couple of hours. But if you can't sleep, then you have all the movies you can think of.
I am not sleeping.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. People, as a matter of fact, when I came back from Ghana a couple of weeks ago, I slept 7 hours straight. I couldn't even believe it myself. I said, what's going on?
I can't help. Yeah. So I can't
Yeah.
help us to sleep on planes. I hear you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm knocked out on the plane.
I
Yeah.
can't. Well, boys, how do you fall asleep when I'm squeezing your hand trying to? I'm
Well,
scared.
the softness of your touch puts me to sleep like a lullaby, baby.
Hey, great
All
answer,
right.
boys.
There you go. There you go.
You hit some turbulence. I'll
I
be in your
rehearsed that
lap.
one. Yeah, well, it's but she's right. Alicia can't sleep on an airplane for sure. But she feels the fear and does it anyway. And I admire that, right? A lot of people let fear stop them from doing the things they want to do. But there's some people, like my wife, who might feel the fear and acknowledge the fear. Remember, she's a therapist, so she knows how to acknowledge feelings and all that. But then she doesn't let the feeling define the action, right? And I think that is a great lesson to learn, in terms of figuring out, like, what life do you want? Where do you want to be? What do you want to be connected to? And what I found also is that when you're talking about things like building business and connecting with the right people, there are certain types of people that are with you on these trips. These are people that are doing great things in their lives, or running businesses. I made several business contacts during that trip, and I'm there. My wife is there, So Alicia met therapists and other people that she does business with to this day. So remember, people that want to do business and want to invest and make money and all that, just know that a lot of investing in business is very social. Social means you have to be conscious of your social circle. So a social circle of individuals that think like you, that are doing similar things to you, can make things easy to the point where trips like this are not just vacations; they are actually a business investment, right? So I'd be curious to know. I know Jay, you and Lamar, y'all went to Ghana and did some business related stuff over there. Can you talk about that?
Oh, sure, sure. So our mutual friend Lamar Tyler, we were just in Ghana, and we had actually a business conference where we connected with local Ghanaian entrepreneurs, and so they were able to share from real estate to retail locations, and just helping people understand the potential and the opportunities that are there on the ground in Ghana. But what it also did, when you have a group of people sitting there talking, they start to brainstorm. And when you start to brainstorm, there are ideas that formulate. You're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. What about this? And what about that? And when you're around a particular mindset, that's the benefit of being on travel experiences like this. And of course, with the B1 family, you have a whole lot of business people. And sometimes you don't know until you get in the environment and you meet the right person. That's where I'm talking business terms. That's where the return on investment comes in, because you're sitting there and you don't even know who's going to be on a trip. And you're like, wow, friendships form, business opportunities happen because you're in the space. And that's what we're creating here. And one of the things I remember about Egypt is just the mindset of the people. And being in that family environment and watching the men sit at the table and have the conversations and just opening up. And oftentimes in our community, we're just trying to find some people who we can talk to and have a good conversation, and people we can trust. And so that's what I see. And that's what I saw recently in Ghana, but that's what I also saw with the B1 family in Egypt. And so what I encourage everybody to really consider is who else you might meet along this journey, and where you may find some sort of synergy or some sort of common ground to where you can have some ideas that come about. So that's my feeling, Dr. Boyce. I see it time and time again as I've traveled the world. And I will tell you from a personal perspective that being in these spaces that helped me to form business relationships. People I would have never met in the U.S., my other brothers and sisters from the U.S., I'll meet them somewhere on the continent or somewhere in South America or somewhere in the Caribbean on these travel experiences. And that's why I say, when you're there, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to pan out, but there's always something positive that you take away from it. And that's why we encourage you to be a part of this B1 voyage to Ghana.
I love that. Um, okay, so Althea's asking about single people traveling with the tour and any concerns some people may have. What are your thoughts on that, Jay?
Oh, well, one, I tell people this all the time. So you can travel with us as a single person. You become a part of the family. So you're not single. You are a part of a group, a part of the family. We've had people from the ages of 3 to 93 traveling with us. We've had 82-year-old grandmothers coming with us alone. But now
Wow.
she's
Wow.
right, alone. But she wasn't alone because we took care of her. So now she's about to go on her fourth trip with us
Oh, so she
because
became everybody's grandmother.
everybody's grandmother, but this has happened several times. And her family has allowed her to travel with us. That's the other part. You know, the sons and daughters are like, now, mama, where you going? I'm going back over to Africa. I'm going with Jay to Africa. Who's Jay? And then next thing you know, she's bringing them. They're coming along she's bringing the grandchildren and the children. And so that's what happens. You become a part of a family. I don't want anyone to fear or to have any anxiety. That's why we tell everyone to relax and enjoy. When we say relax and enjoy, that means that we're taking care of things so you don't have to worry about it. This is like a done for you experience. We've thought about it. All you have to do is sign up and show up. And then we make sure that your experience is curated in a way where your safety is our priority, then your comfort, and then you're going to have a good time. So, because people are wondering, where you're going to sleep, you're going to be staying in Ghana, you're going to be staying at the Tang Palace Hotel. So you're going to love that. No worries. I'm a little bougie myself now. I got to fess up and tell the truth. I do enjoy nice accommodations. I can go out and do, all the things out in the atmosphere and the environment. But when I sleep at night, I have to have some nice accommodations. I need that soft pillow. I need to have some air conditioning. Still trying to work that out of my system there. but it's those things you don't have to worry about. Your transportation, when you get there and you're on the ground, you don't have to worry about being in quality transportation. You don't have to worry about going to top quality restaurants. These are things that we have already thought about. You don't have to worry about. So come alone, bring the family, bring your children. We've had many children travel with us, and they walk away with the same powerful experience. And I tell parents all the time, one of the greatest gifts and one of the greatest investments you can make in your children is giving them a world education and allowing them to experience international travel. And let's not leave out the continent of Africa. Many times we go to Europe or somewhere in Europe, and I love different parts of Europe, or we go to Asia or somewhere else. But when we think about Africa, we're thinking poor, we're thinking corrupt, we're thinking unsafe. And that is one of the saddest narratives that I've seen being spread around the world, because some of the wealthiest people come from the continent of Africa, one of the 54 countries, some of the most luxurious resorts, some of the best food, some of the best culture right there on the continent of Africa. And many of our children have been robbed from it because we're just thinking that this place is a place that needs charity and help, when in reality, when many people get there, they discover we're the ones who need what this continent has to offer. And so, again, see it for yourself. That's all I can say. See for yourself, but just know we have all of the details worked out for you, and we're going to take great care of you.
Yeah. I'm gonna let Alicia and Lawrence get the last words in, but I'll say this. And by the way, I want everybody to know, if you want to know about this trip, go to b1voyages.com. All the information is there. The number one voyages.com. Also, if you have any questions about the trip as we move up to the July 14th launch date, you can email support@theblackbusinessschool.com, support@theblackbusinessschool.com, and they can help you out with that. I can say this. I feel that I don't think I've ever had a group trip with other Black people to the continent of Africa that didn't have some kind of magical experience that was uniquely something that doesn't really happen in the United States. Every single time. I mean, when I went to Nigeria and then Ghana was I went on a group trip to Ghana, and then the group trip to Egypt that we all took. I feel like every single trip there was something very expansive about being Black in another continent, and being Black in a space where you're the majority, not the minority. Being Black around other intelligent Black people in another continent and you're the majority, it's very expansive thinking that leads you to start saying, okay, why don't we sit down and take notes on how we're going to take over the world? I don't know how everybody else felt, but I know that because you're free, you're not restrictive, you're not sitting around saying, well, if we start the business, they gonna burns it down, and we got to work through the gatekeepers and no, ain't none of that. You're free, and you're not just free, but you're free of so many other things. You're free of your own limitations. Number one, you're free of your geographical limitations. You're free of some of the cultural limitations that can occur when, because we know sometimes some parts of our culture have been bastardized. Some of our people are still have work to do in terms of really knowing how great we can be. And then also we know that, being black in America ain't the same as being black in Africa. Right? We know this, right? So I can encourage everybody. I want everybody to just think about this. When you go to a country where everybody looks like you and you're around other people who want to grow and you are doing something that you've never done in your life and just receiving all this dopamine from this new experience, you are going to be on cloud 12. You are just going to feel so amazing. And on top of that, Bougie J is going to make sure that you're comfortable the whole time
You
while you're
sure
at
will.
it. Right? Air conditioning, all that, all the nice stuff that you like will still be there. And you really will feel that inner royalty kind of step out. Like, I should be the CEO of something. I should be the head of a family. I am a descendant of kings and queens. My ancestors are great and amazing, and ain't nobody gonna tell me different. That's what my experience is like. That's why I'm excited to go back. Not only, Jay, am I going to go back with you to Ghana, but I'm going to a whole bunch of countries. I haven't been to enough. I did go to Egypt and Botswana and Nigeria and South Africa and Ghana, but I got like about 30, 40 other places I need to go in the continent because I haven't explored it enough myself. I'm done talking. I guess ladies first, maybe Alicia, did you have something you want to say, babe?
Well, yeah, I mean, just to add to what has already been said, uh, I'm a proponent of self-care. And from now until the time we have our trip, my I have a lot of goals. I have a lot of work goals. I have a lot of personal goals, and I am just going to be head down, teaching my classes, seeing clients, and doing all these great things that I do with my life that I love so much. Now, I think it's so important as part of self-care to be able to schedule time where you could just snap yourself out of it, where you can just get off of your regular routine and travel. I mean, 10 hours on the airplane, that's wonderful time to sit and reflect on life. It's a great time to just stop your daily routine so that you can think about what's important to you, look forward to something different, a different cultural experience. And the beauty of it is that when you invest in yourself and that self care, when you come back, because I know I have to come back to teaching my classes, same classes I'm teaching, right? And seeing clients and being a mother and all of these great things that that's part of my life, I can go back with a refound, renewed sense of purpose because I was able to take time investing in myself and stepping outside of my daily routine to something totally different. And it helps me appreciate, first of all, I like bougie hotels and everything, but I appreciate sleeping in my own bed. Hello. I love my bed. So little things like that I appreciate too. And so, that's the biggest thing. I think going on a trip like this, it's a big trip. It's not like a small thing. It's a really big thing. And not to have to worry about where we going, what are we doing, safety, all of that. Jay takes care of all of that. Like you feel safe, you feel like somebody is in charge. I could just basically like my brain doesn't have to be on. I just be like, where is Jay going? Okay, come on, boys, let's follow Jay. So
Yeah.
you do feel like there's somebody in charge, so you could just relax and enjoy.
Wait,
Yeah.
did Anita in the chat? She's looks excited about going. I saw her mention that she's going. I know a lot of y'all said that, but I just happened to see Anita, so look forward to seeing you there. Lawrence, did you want to get the last word and kind of take us
I mean, I
out?
always think I always think you should get the last word, but I mean, my advice is just to get out here and travel. You
Hmm.
won't regret it. Go with your family, go with your friends, go with the people that you love and care about the most, because it gives you a completely new perspective on life. And it is one of the things in terms of personal self-development and personal connection. It's one of the best things that you can actually do to make that happen. I know when I've traveled to, many different countries around the world, there's nothing like coming across new experiences that I still take with me day to day, with the work that I do, because you never know what micro experience or this little thing happened at dinner in Ghana, or that little thing happened while overlooking the pyramids in Egypt, whatever it might be. things just come back to you, and it makes for a much more fulfilling and content life. And if you can get out there, I know you can, not if, when you get out there, just make this a priority and you won't regret it. And there's no better place to start if you have not started yet than the B1 voyage to Ghana.
Okay. Well, then you know what? I see a couple of questions, so maybe I can let Jay answer a couple questions, and then if you want me to, since Lawrence wants me to take us out, I can do that. Because I know Jay's busy. Jay's like he's like Mr. VIP, so I want y'all to just we got to take a moment, hold our breath, and recognize that King Jay's in the building, and this man is he's doing amazing things. He's the great connector. He's really creating these amazing experiences for so many people. And I just have to take a moment to acknowledge and to just show my respect and let you know how much we appreciate you coming in and giving your time. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Dr. Boyce, for one, sharing what we do with the B1 family, and we appreciate it. So, no, everybody here at Maximum Impact Travel appreciates it, and personally, I appreciate it, and I thank you as well.
100%. Okay, so AC Salam is asking, do the street seats stretch out to prevent leg blood clots? And then there's another question about yellow fever. Has anyone experienced the side effects from yellow fever, the yellow fever shot?
All right,
So if
well,
you
I'll
want to
take
answer both those together, you can.
Sure, I'll take both. Well, take the first one as far as the seat stretching out. Depending on what seating class you're sitting in, if you're in business class, then yes, it'll lay down into a bed. If you're in a different class where the seat does not lay all the way down, what you can do is, as long as you can continue to get up and move around during the flight, you get up, go to the restroom, you get up. Some people stand up and walk around. As long as you're keeping the blood flowing, that is the biggest concern when it comes to long haul flights and blood clots. So it's just a matter of just keeping your legs moving and getting up and moving around. So that's what, and of course, check with your doctor to see if there are other maybe compression socks or pants or something like that that you can wear. But that's if you're in business class, you can lay down. But if not, I see people walking around the plane all the time. To help with that. The other thing is any side effects from yellow fever. Here are two things. The only vaccination that Ghana requires, and let me make sure everybody's clear about this, is the yellow fever vaccination or a medical exemption. So if you don't want to do vaccines, then you can get the medical exemption from your doctor, and that will suffice when getting your coming into Ghana. But for those who opt for the yellow fever vaccine, it is almost a 100-year-old vaccine. And I have not heard of anyone having any major side effects from the yellow fever vaccine. But again, check with your medical professional to get their assessment on how they feel about any vaccination, any medical treatment or anything like that. So just check with your medical professional. But we haven't heard anything in the trips that we've taken, nothing major as far as the yellow fever vaccination.
Okay. All right. So we have been speaking for a little bit, and I wanted to have this session so we could give you the information that you need. I hope you all will consider joining us July 14th when we go to Ghana. I will be there. My wife Alicia will be there. And I cannot in advance take responsibility for any ridiculous activity you may see me involved in while I'm there. Nothing dangerous, nothing crazy, but I am a little bit weird. So you might actually have to have the torturous experience of watching me dance at some point, which has been known to frighten people. But anyway, but I want to say thank you to everybody who came and hung out with us. And I want you to know that on this trip, economics will be a big part of this. Anywhere that we go, anywhere we hang out, our goal is economic domination of the 21st century and beyond. We are excellence. That is what we are. That's what we represent. That's when you see that Black Business School Panther, just know that's excellence. That's what we're aiming to do. And Africa, let me just tell y'all a little something. Africa has one of the brightest economic futures of any continent on the planet, if not the brightest. Africa has the most young people. Its greatest resource is its people, and that doesn't include all the amazing the minerals in the earth, from everything from the gold and diamonds to timber to cobalt to all these other things. And Africa is rising. It's emerging. China is going to be rising as well, but China doesn't have advantages that Africa has. Africa is liberating itself. There are things happening in parts of Africa that are going to spread throughout the continent. At the end of this century, Africa will not be the same continent that it is right now. It is going to be vastly different. And by participating and being a part of these expeditions to go to Africa, bringing us back home, reconnecting us to our roots, reminding us of who the hell we are, we as African American people are going to play a critical role in the rise of Africa. Remember, African American people are the richest black people on the entire planet. We are the rich kids in the neighborhood. We are richer than 99 or 95, 96% of all the countries on earth. If we were a country, we'd be one of the top 11 richest countries on the planet. We have more money than Vladimir Putin in Russia. So what I want you to understand is that this is our plan. This is God's plan. We're supposed to be coming back home. We're supposed to be connecting this year at the All Black National Convention. There will be delegates from, I want to say, 6 or 7 African countries. I think the leaders of 6 or 7 African nations are coming to the convention this year when we partner with Dr. Ken Harris and the Black Business League. So this is happening. This is Black history. This is the Marcus Garvey era. This is the Malcolm X era. This is the Frederick Douglass era. You're watching it right here. It's right here happening with you. And so I encourage you, I ask you to consider joining us in this journey, because the more we show up for ourselves and the more we participate in these things and move forward without fear, without hesitation, without apologizing to nobody, the quicker we can reach the greatness that I know that God has in store for us. So, everybody type the word great in the chat, just so we know who we are and what our ancestors want us to be. And I hope you can join us on this trip to Ghana. If you can't, that's totally cool, but I hope you'll consider it. If not, we'll still be here with you all the time, every day, like we are. We're with you. We will fight next to you, and we are going to battle, and we are also going to have an amazing time. So if you want to have fun, have fun. But while you're there, also remember who you are. You are not just somebody's employee. You are meant to be somebody's leader. So God bless you, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out, and thank you very much, Jay. Good to see you, brother, and Lawrence, and Dr. Alicia, baby. It's good to see you. All right, and Chanel. Thank everybody. Thank Chanel in the chat. Her name starts with a C. There's one N and 2 L's. So we got to thank Chanel, because ain't nothing happening without Chanel, because she's a beast with it, in a beautiful way. And by the way, Chanel just had a beautiful baby daughter. I should mention this. And she's the baby was a miracle baby, but she's the B1 baby, and we knew the baby. It was a rough road. It was a rough road, and but we knew from the beginning that this baby was going to be healthy and strong, and she's the strongest baby in the whole ward. And now this she's actually coming home, so she's part of the legacy of what we are. We survived that middle passage, the door no return. We did all of that, and so we knew this baby was going to be coming home and be healthy. So congratulations to Chanel and her family, and God